Did Miller Lite just do exactly what I said they probably would not do and go full, well, this guy here? It was about 6 weeks ago that Bud Light started to receive backlash over the whole can't really say the person's name, or you got to watch the way you say it because if you don't say it a certain way, then certain videos from your channel will get removed. Very, very weird. Very, very funny how that happened. But still, at the same time, though, let's just say that I may have been a little bit off. I didn't think that Miller was fool enough to go through with what I'm about to show you now. Now, guys, really quick. I don't really and truly know a whole lot about the beer industry all the way back to its beginnings. I do know that men and women both have been fermenting drinks for a while, so you'll probably hear me say it again in the very, very next clip. So I'm not going to touch that particular aspect. What I am going to be talking about in this video is why it is that men, for the most part, which I'm going to go ahead and talk about that now, why is this primarily men that drink beer? And of course, Miller is kind of like the alternative to Anheuser-Busch, or some people prefer Miller a little bit over any type of Anheuser-Busch product. I just figure I would throw that out there. So you would think that the Miller product, seeing how Anheuser-Busch has been boycotted and that their sales are down, their overall money value is going down. People aren't buying any Anheuser-Busch product because there's this thing called the internet, and it allows you to actually research every single product that Anheuser-Busch either owns or is a subsidiary or actually works in coalition with. As far as beer products is concerned, you would have thought that maybe the Miller Company might have been like, how do I say this, a little bit cautious to do anything that looks like the woke side. So basically for 6 weeks now, Miller and Coors, they've been sitting back reaping the benefits of Anheuser-Busch's collapse, or Anheuser-Busch's money loss. Obviously, you'd expect stocks to go up. You expect people to drink more Miller. And then out of the middle of nowhere, you release an ad. Now, guys, I'm not going to be spending a whole lot of time talking about whether women created beer at one point in time, or whether women work in beer places, or work in alcohol joints, or work in I don't know, breweries or whatnot, because I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure if you go back very, very far, you'll probably see some evidence of everything else. What I'm going to be talking about is why it is that you don't want to piss off your male customers in this video, because let's just go ahead and be honest. It's mostly males who buy the product. Let's go ahead and roll this.
In fact, women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow. Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms. Push out beautiful fertilizer.
That good helps farmers grow quality hops,
which is then donated to women brewers to make their own really good
But there's definitely more out there. In your attic, in the garage, in your parents' basement. Send any you got into Miller Lite, and they'll turn that into good too. Oh. So here's to women, because without us, there would be no beer.
Clean up the beer industry. Clean up the companies. That's kind of what I heard. You know, we don't want to be in bikinis. Don't worry, I'll explain the bikini thing here in a second, because obviously you have to have a product that's kind of alluring to the males to come buy your product, because it's primarily males who do in fact drink beer. I don't think it's a good idea to be the boss lady right now, because you see, anytime you try to be the boss lady or the boss chick, it always comes off in a very, very condescending and negative way. And I don't think it's a good idea to sound condescending when you have an entire customer base that you need to sell beer to. And it also looks extremely shady, as I said earlier, that you're doing this coming off the heels of a massive boycott of your competitor, which of course is Anheuser-Busch. Now, guys, a lot of people have came out and said that women didn't make beer or anything like that. I'm not going to get into the weeds of that because, for all I know, women were probably helping ferment alcoholic beverages all the way back in the old days. So I'm not really going to go into that. And obviously, there are women that do work for some of these companies, probably work in the factories, the bottling companies. I've personally seen this. So I'm not really going to go into that. But what I am going to go into is the whole bikini thing. You see, beer companies tried to appeal to a brand new audience, mostly men. One of the ways they would do that is that they would hire models to somewhat be their spokesman, basically wearing bikinis, show up in commercials, all that type of stuff. There, of course, Bud Light, very, very funny. They had, I guess you could say the ad is prophetic now. From what you're seeing here, that I've put in the cutaway here, that old ad of Ladies Night with the guys dressed up as girls. Okay, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys might be knowing where I'm going with this. But the thing is this right here. Oftentimes we like to use a party-esque atmosphere, especially to appeal to men who primarily drink beer. Women, to my knowledge, don't drink as much beer as men do. That is not saying they don't drink beer. Of course they do. I've seen women actually do it. Okay, I'm just saying that beer is typically the drink for men. It's kind of like I've always said about that little joke about how it is that White Claw is Bud Light for women, but now they can look at us and say that Bud Light is White Claw for men, as I've said before. But here's the thing that really gets me. If I've got to hear somebody say that you're just objectifying women and you're upset about the fact that she is upset that women were using bikinis, I don't think you're following what I don't think you're following the whole premise here. You see, ladies in bikinis is something that women, quite frankly, should be proud of to a certain degree because it shows off your feminine aura, your feminine energy. It shows off your looks. Something that, quite frankly, you should be proud of. Yes, straight white man talking here. You can rip me in the comments. I really and truly don't care. I'll still love you regardless. But here is the thing about this. Where's the outrage for dudes in lingerie? Where's the outrage for, can't say it because then they'll remove a video from your platform if you even mention this person. Yeah, YouTube removed one of my videos saying terms and policies over this, just in time for monetizing the channel. I mean, go figure. I mean, think about it really quick. I mean, where's the outrage for biological men playing in women's sports? I mean, where's the outrage for men taking your jobs? I mean, why are you upset about this? I mean, if anything, I think that women would be a little bit more empowered to take back over institutions and products that typically tend to be theirs. Bikinis, lingerie, Victoria's Secret, women's sports. I figure that women would be, more jumping at the bit to kind of like protest everything rather than being the guys. Like I've said before, women, if you want to save your institutions, you're going to have to get up and actually save yourselves. If you guys are kind of picking up on what I'm saying, you need to be the ones that actually use the outrage and don't just leave it up to us. It's more powerful if it comes from you. Now, with that right there being said, let's go ahead and run some parables here to Bud Light because it's very, very possible, especially given the fact that Pride Month is only about 15, 16 days away, that we're probably going to see some more of this. It's been roughly a week and a half or 2 weeks since we've talked about Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch, but as you guys are seeing, the stocks are obviously still down, and there's even some reports out there that Wall Street itself is dumping Bud Light. I figure if anybody would have learned from this, I would have thought that maybe the Miller Company, which at one point in time, if I recall correctly, they were in it with, they've always been a direct competitor to Anheuser-Busch. But the thing was, at one time, the Bud companies or the Bud Light subsidiaries in Anheuser-Busch was running this whole ad campaign talking about how it was that Miller was a product that used corn syrup in their drinks. And of course, Miller, they had a they had a very good response to this by showing an ad of people coming off the set of one of their commercials, and they were the Bud people coming off the set of one of their commercials all drinking Miller Lite. I actually thought it was a pretty solid ad, or a pretty good comeback to that. But of course, they all did the whole inclusionary thing, which, by the way, is to be expected, especially in June. But still, though, people are kind of like, man, is this stuff right here even necessary? A lot of the whole woke corporate stuff is completely unnecessary. And then, of course, you get people who come in here and say, define woke for us. Well, do I really and truly need to define woke for you? I'm pretty sure you can pretty well see it. Tokenism, equity agenda, all that crap there. I don't think I have to go too far into that, but don't worry, we'll make videos on that in the future, explain more. As a matter of fact, I've got to kind of come back on the Cleopatra front and explain to people why it is that film has bombed, that docudrama has. Once again, we got to go through that and what the director said, which was pretty eye-opening, exactly how bad the issue is. that you figured that Bud Light's failure and you figured the boycott would have taught Miller and the Coors Company, or the Molson Company, which by the way owns Coors now, you figure that they would have learned from this and not tried to do anything like this, especially given the fact that they've kind of reaped the rewards from all the beer drinkers who gave up Anheuser-Busch after the whole that guy there thing. You know what I'm saying? You figured that they would have learned this. So the question is, would Miller sustain the same type of damage that Anheuser-Busch did? I'm not so sure, but I got a feeling that I may have to completely backtrack on something that I said in a previous video, and I may have to go ahead and come on out and say it, that it's very, very likely that they're going to take a hit too, but it probably will not be as big of a hit. I've been saying for a long time, best thing you can do, buy local, buy Pure American. Yingling, I think, is probably the company that should benefit from the most from this. I wouldn't just jump ship and go to Coors just yet, because they're probably going to do something like this as well here real soon. I'm kind of expecting it now, that Miller obviously did not learn their lesson. Now, I got to throw this out here, and if you're up from the Midwest, I want to get your comments on this, especially if you're like Wisconsin, for example. And by the way, I should be at least get one thing in common with you. I mean, I am a Packers fan. I got friends of mine who I serve with that live in Wisconsin, some of them who live in Minnesota and Michigan. I got three guys I know who still live in Ohio, and a couple that live in Illinois, and a couple of guys who are actually from Chicago who live down here that I run to. Both of them are vets. And I've asked them about the whole bratwurst thing. And, of course, you know, you go buy Johnsonville brats or whatever. You put them on the grill. You typically, you know, they're really good. I mean, some of the best tasting sausages you're going to find. Put them on a bun, put a little bit of mustard or whatever. I typically tend to eat mine really, quite frankly, plain. Or I may put some grilled onions, Vidalia onions on them. But the thing is this right here. And I've had a lot of these people tell me that they don't use Miller for beer brats. They like to use Pabst Blue Ribbon. Now, Pabst Blue Ribbon has not done anything like this yet. And Pabst Blue Ribbon, of course, is a good old-fashioned cheap beer. But I got to tell you right now, PBRs in the bottle are very, very good. But like I said, if you're from the Midwest, please comment. Tell me if that's actually true. I've heard that PBR is the one that's mostly used for brats. Please tell me in the comment section. I'd love to get you guys' thoughts. And if there's anything I got incorrect, especially on that last part, please leave it in there. Guys, really quick. I'm going to be doing kind of a 1,000 subscriber, not special, but I'm going to be mentioning it in the third video for tomorrow. We eclipsed 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for doing that. I wanted to give it a few more days to ensure that there was not a bot count on the channel, because you kind of fear that you would hit 1,000 and all of a sudden YouTube would maybe eliminate one or two of the bots. But apparently there's been a few more people have rolled in and subscribed to the channel, so thank you guys for doing that. And I wanted to kind of wait until then. It's not really going to be much of a special or anything. It's just going to be kind of like giving you guys some updates. So expect one of the videos to come out tomorrow to be much, much longer. Or I may push it to Wednesday, because it's probably going to be a relatively lengthy video, because I got to kind of like look back at one more thing that we've been talking about here recently. And that, of course, is the Cleopatra thing. So make sure you guys stick around for that there. Guys, John Claymore, if you like the content, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comment section. I'd love to get you guys' thoughts, and I'll see you guys later.